Hello, this is Alex from Liquid Web with our video on 5 tips to secure your WordPress site. So we'll start with tip number 1, keep WordPress up to date. This is our top recommended tip because the updates directly patch known problems with WordPress. The longer you wait to update your WordPress version, the more vulnerabilities there are that can be used to inject malicious code, upload phishing pages, steal data, or just break your site. Turning on automatic updates would be recommended to help ensure your site gets updated regularly, in case you forget or just don't have the time to get around to it. I'd also recommend updating all plugins and themes, which brings us to tip number 2, review your plugins and themes. First, remove any plugins and themes you don't need. I don't even recommend leaving them disabled, as the files would still be sitting out there in folders on the server, which could potentially be used if there was an exploit on them. They can't be exploited if they aren't there. Next, make sure the plugins and themes you do keep are all up to date. Again, automatic updates would be recommended. But even if a plugin is up to date, if the development has been abandoned on a plugin or theme you use, there could be exploits that may never be patched. If you have older plugins and themes, you may want to search the internet to see if there are any known issues, and possibly look for replacements that do still get updates. Tip 3 is to protect your logins. Don't reuse the same username and password across sites. Make sure to use good, strong passwords, and only give information to people you trust. I'd also recommend going over your users list and removing any you don't need anymore. Then another way to protect the logins is to hide the WordPress login page itself. Normally you can just go to yourdomain.com/wpadmin or wplogin.php and get the login page. But there are different plugins that can change the URL you have to go to. This would hide the page from bots so it wouldn't even give them the chance to try to guess a password. There are lots of plugins that can do this, but I'll show you one that I like to use, iTheme Security. So to give you a demonstration here, in iTheme Security, search for Hide and go to Hide Backend, configure settings, check the box for Enable the Hide Backend features. Here you can change the URL you'll actually go to. I changed it to You Will Never Guess This. Then if I open up a new private tab and go to example.com/wplogin.php, it gives me this, oops, this page can't be found. But then if I go to example.com/you will never guess this, it then forwards to the login page correctly. Which brings us to tip number 4. Install protection plugins. One of the best parts about WordPress is all the plugins available, so you can likely find some plugins that will suit your specific needs. I'd recommend searching through the WordPress plugin pages, ask around to see what other people use, and read some reviews to see the pros and cons of each one. One of my favorite plugins is the iTheme Security plugin I mentioned before. This one plugin has lots of different features, so if you aren't sure about what to do, try this one out. Read through the options and see what would be a good fit for your site. If your site helps provide you and your business with a lot of income, then you may want to consider buying a paid version just to offer more security. Then finally, tip number 5 is to make sure you have good backups. This may not seem like something important to protect your site itself, but it's more about saving time and energy put into making the site in case something does happen. I would recommend having multiple backups, saved in multiple locations if possible. Then test to make sure that the backups are good and that you have a plan to recover in case there was a problem. Like if your site was hacked, if somebody accidentally deletes something, if an update breaks the site, or even if a hard drive fails. Setting up a disaster recovery plan for different events can help get the site back up and running to help avoid downtime for your customers. If something happened and you didn't have any backups, then depending on what was lost, could mean lots of downtime and lost revenue. So that's all the tips we have for this video. Hopefully you gained something useful. If you or a friend are in the market for a web host, feel free to talk to a Liquid Web Tech by phone or in a chat 24 hours a day. Thank you for watching.